in Istanbul with an important Mexican participation. We are trying to take some exhibits. But last year, our Minister of Foreign Affairs came and visit, an official visit, and we signed a program of exchange in culture, education, media, youth, and sports. And that gave us a frame to promote a little bit more presence of Mexico in Turkey.
What does it include, sir? I mean, to be more specific.
Well, that includes scholarship, for instance. That includes exchanges between, for instance, new agencies, exchanges of professors in the universities, exchanges of exhibits as well, as I was telling you. So it's a very comprehensive program, and I'm confident that will allow to go further in our relations in this field.
You have been in Turkey for like 1.5 years, and you have been following Turkey's foreign policy.
That's right.
What do you think about Turkish foreign policy and Turkey's aspiration of becoming a European Union member?
Well, I see a very active country. I see a very Turkey, and in terms of foreign policy, becoming a every time most important actor in the region. Towards the European Union, I think you should get into, but it not depends on me. But I'm sure and I'm confident that Turkey is ready and is getting ready to that. I'm completely aware of the importance of Turkey in this global situation that we live all. I mean, it's a very important actor in this area.
What's the Mexican point of view? Do you see Turkey as a Middle Eastern power or a European power? How do you perceive Turkey back in Mexico?
Well, you know, we perceive a country exactly between two very important geographical areas. In our case, for instance, in our ministry, Turkey is in the European affairs direction. With the contact for the embassy of Turkey in Mexico is the European direction in our ministry. But we are aware that Turkey is playing in a very, very important role in Middle East and Central Asia and Caucasus as well. I mean, the importance of your country being a link between the East and the West it's evident. I mean, it's very, very, very important.
I think importance of our countries will increase with the strengthening of our economies. So, and the relation between the two countries will improve and will even get better. It's already very good, but it will even get better with the improvement of our economic relations. So let's dwell a little bit more upon the economic relations between the two countries, and we would like to really hear about your suggestions, your opinions to improve economic relations.
Well, I think we can work, as the governments, we can work on papers and try to get agreements. For instance, we are negotiating two very important agreements with Turkey, actually. The protection of investments, the mutual protection of investments, and want to avoid double taxation. So this, for the economic matters, are important. And we can go ahead in this and this, but I think the most important is to put the actors together, to put the communities, the business communities, the Mexican business community in contact with the Turkish one, and on the other side as well. Recently we had a very important delegation from Turkey in Mexico. We had the World Congress of Chambers of Commerce, and the Turkish delegation was very important with members, well, the president of TOB, obviously, but president of Chamber of Commerce of Istanbul, Izmir, Bursa, and I don't remember other cities, and with a good amount of people from the business community. This is the kind of things that we have to. We are promoting in the next future as well another mission from Mexico, from Turkish businessmen, this time with the Tuscon organization, to get businessmen to Mexico, and we are trying to do the same in here. So this is the way, because we can have 10 agreements signed, but if you don't put the real actors in contact, that will still on paper.
Mr. Ambassador, I was doing a research on the internet about Turkish-Mexican relations, and I came across with the establishment of Turkish-Mexican Trade Council. Well, what's the story behind this council, and is it active now?
Well, I think maybe you are talking about the creation 12 years ago of a Mexican-Turkey Commission for Economic Relations that was created, as I tell you, 12 years, and unfortunately until now they have had just one meeting. So we want to renew that and to go under this umbrella to get a little bit more on the exchanges with missions of business community of both parts. Maybe you talk as well about the Mexico-Turkish Business Council, which is held in the frame of DEIC, the DEIC organization, which is already working since a few years ago. So anyway, I think we have a lot to do in this matter, and as I was telling you, we can go further in agreements and negotiations, but the important is to get together, to put together communities of the actors of the economic scene. I think this is the way that we should go, and we will try to go.
I see. We are coming to the end of our discussion. Do you have one final remark about the relations between two countries?
Well, my final remarks is that there are a lot of similarities of points of view. We share a lot of things in the multilateral arena. We didn't speak about we are both in the OCDE, we are both in G20. Next year, Mexico will have the presidents of the G20, and we count a lot in our Turkish friends, and they have been always very supportive to Mexico. We share this very, very similar points of view in terms of the restructuration of the financial system. I mean, we have a lot of things. We share the non-permanent post in the Security Council until last year. So there are a lot of points in common. And in the economic field as well, we have a very similar level of development of incomes, and I think we are both in a very similar situation, and we should take this like an advantage, more than disadvantage. I mean, or concurrence or whatever. So we should be more close. That's for sure.
Mr. Ambassador, you mentioned that there are so many workers in the United States, Mexican workers in the United States, and this is one of the items that the Mexican economy relies on. Can you a little bit explain the situation? It is very similar to the Turkish economy in the 80s, 70s.
I guess. I don't know what is the situation here now, but for us, as I told you, the third income from Mexico comes from the tourism. The second income to Mexico comes from the remittances. Last year, we had around $25 billion coming from Mexicans living in the United States. Our first income, obviously, is oil. So these three things are very important for the Mexican economy. We have a big community. Very difficult to say exactly how many, because we have people who are now citizens of the United States but for Mexican origins, or people working and having residence for work in the United States, and people who cross just like that to work, that we call undocumented people. Some calculations says that between 35 and 40 million persons, 40 million Mexicans or Mexican origins persons are living in the United States, which is a very huge population. And we have experience with this, and we know Turkey is interested in our experience dealing with Mexican communities abroad, especially in the United States, because this is the only country in the world where we have a big community. I mean, other countries in Latin America have important communities in different countries, or Europe, or in other countries. Mexico, it's very, very focused on the United States.
And Mexican government and Turkish government has reached an agreement to exchange
Absolutely.
their experiences.
In Mexico, in our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have the Mexican Institute for Migrants, which is an area, a specific area of the ministry. So last year, when our Ministry of Foreign Affairs came, we signed an agreement with the Foreign Minister of Turkey to exchange experience and how we are treating and how we are having contacts and how we are attending the communities, our communities abroad. So this is another matter that we can certainly cooperate.
Mexico is a Latin American country, and as part of Latin America, or would you a little bit explain the situation of Latin America or presence of Latin America in Turkey?
Yes, of course. Certainly Mexico is a Latin American country. We are situated on the south of North America, but we are a country profoundly and deeply Latin American. Our area is Latin America, and I was very happy to see, and I am very happy to see the interest of the Turkish government in this region of the world. Personally, in 1.5 years. I see that when I came in February last year, 2010, we were 6 Latin American embassies in Ankara. Now we are 9. We have recently, a few weeks ago, received our colleagues from Colombia. So that this is a proof of the interest that Turkey has in our region. Turkey is opening as well diplomatic missions in Latin America, Ecuador, Peru, consulates in Brazil, Sao Paulo, and I think this is to go ahead. I mean, I'm sure that in the next future we will have more embassies from Latin America in Ankara.
This brought us to the end of our discussion. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for this opportunity.
This was The Diplomats. I am Shakirdin Şahin. Today we had Mexican ambassador in Ankara, His Excellency Mr. Garcia Amaral. Thank you for watching us. Stay tuned in 6 News. Bye-bye.